This past week, I was given another project, something that was rather large, rather big. I had just come off of a project like that, and frankly, the doubt set in pretty quickly. I felt like, is this next project gonna live up to the same expectations? Is it gonna be as interesting, as impactful, as wow? Because frankly, the last project I worked on was awesome. And I know for me, when self-doubt hits, it's actually pretty hard to get the project done. But lately, I've been learning something that has kind of helped me work through that. And it's actually pretty simple. Make something cool. Hi, I'm Josh, filmmaker, creative, and today I'm gonna talk about self-doubt and how I worked through it this week. And we're gonna do that throughout the process of showing you how I built this whole set, from the behind the scenes of assembling to producing to getting the assets ready. I'm gonna walk you through all of that and some of the thinking I had behind it. And so let's jump back to Tuesday to start the week off and can kind of see where my head's at, and then work through to towards Thursday where this thing gets completed. Let's hop back to Tuesday.
Good morning, it's Tuesday, and most of today is going to be dedicated to this setting. I guess I will be in my office working away. We have, I think the last time I checked was 16 baptisms for May, which means we have 16 interviews to do next week in a matter of like 4.5 days. So it's quite a bit, and I need a concept for the video, which I kind of have one, as you can see by this Milano board right here that I'm kind of like leaning in towards. But I need to find some music that I think works, and I'm on Music Bed looking for that. And so, man, most of today is going to be this. So if you're wondering what, videographer, filmmaker, whatever title you want to give creative once or does on a daily basis, it's, I'm on my standing desk, so I'm standing, but most of it is I sit here and I do this. I research and I try to come up with creative ideas for this to be cool and interesting. And story is always interesting, so that pulls a lot of the weight. But how can I add to it to help people feel what those people are saying is true and meaningful and impactful? And a lot of the times that comes down to how it's presented and the music you choose. And so, today is going to be a lot of listening to music and coming up with creative ways to show off the stories. So, thought I would just do a quick little thing here, and then we'll get to work. Let's go. As I'm working here, there are a lot of thoughts going through my head. How will this project stand up to my previous ones? How am I going to make a video that could include even more people than my last one? We're looking at like 19 people that I would need to fit in a video that would be 7 minutes or less. I've shot close to 300 plus baptism testimonies, and I've always improved over time. But these are only getting more complicated and more challenging the farther I push my creativity. Real question, should I just make this a cookie cutter concept and keep doing the same thing? That would certainly be easier. Okay, one thing I learned from my friend, who's also a therapist, sometimes you just need to gain control of your thoughts and change the track and move on to something else. And so that's what I tried to do here. We got some music, found some inspiration, and I worked on some stickers. That's a bit of a special concept that I'll explain in a future video. Now we need to focus on the next best thing, one foot after the other. Let's build the set. On to Wednesday.
Welcome to what will be a set in the next roughly hour or so. Let me show you what we're dealing with. Cosmo, you don't have to focus on me anymore. So this is my Milanote board. And so we're gonna try to essentially emulate this shot, which you can kind of see with the backdrop, with this shot to get a bit of a halo, a little bit of a light, a little bit of a kind of a harsher hair light with a nice soft fill. And then we're gonna add something a little bit spicy in between those two, something kind of fun and different. So, Cosmo, you can lock back on. Thank you. So first things first, I need to clear this space. This is, can also go over here for now. Okay, so as you saw on my Milano board, which I'll bring up again, this is what we're aiming for, which means that beam right there is going to be what turns into the white backdrop, which is into this box. And then I want to light them from behind to get that, kind of rough to get that halo effect that we're aiming for. So there has to be light that fits behind here, up, over, and down, and then using some farm doors to help fix that light to aim where I want it to aim. So stay tuned. Let's get building and doing all the things to make this look how I've shown you in the Milano boards. Let's go. Feels like barely, but it does hold. Do not fall. Well, that's not bad. This is going to go up. This is easier with 2 people. There's more paper. Okay, so at this point what I'm doing is I'm checking camera to set to kind of see what I want. But if I stand on the paper here and I kind of sit, hopefully there's a bit of light hitting me. I mean, I can see it on my shoulders, so supposedly there is, but now it's just trying to really gauge out what I think looks good and get the proper thing set on camera. So if I just to gauge what I want it to look like. Now, first things first, what comes to mind obviously is I need to shut those blinds. So let's shut those. You want to control as much light as possible. Wow, it is dark in here now. Okay. I definitely don't mind that. We're definitely gonna maybe need to add some fill light to the ceiling, but I definitely don't mind how this looks now anyways. But it is definitely dark. So the key light's gonna have to do some heavy lifting, I think. So this is the rough setup. Now it's time to find the chair, plug in some lights, get the key light set up, and then it's on to the surprise of what I'm trying to add to the backdrop for a little bit of extra texture. Let's go to it. If you didn't guess it from the beginning of the video, the surprise is the projector. I knew I wanted to add something a little different, a projector I've been wanting to use for quite a long time, and it fit perfectly into what this concept became. Something I kind of figured out as we were working on this set, 2 things really. It sometimes helps for me to work through the doubt, to just start to do things, to get out of my head and start to build what I think will work. Not what I know will work, but something that could. It also really helped to work with other people, to bounce ideas off of and to hear their encouragement. And so huge shout out to Keith and Janessa this past week, as really there's no way this would have turned out as cool as it did without their help, giving me new ideas and supporting me, and yeah, working through this together. So big shout out to them. Well, let's wrap this video up with a last couple points as I show you the rest of the set. I'm gonna sit in front of the other camera. I got a couple monitors I'm checking on things. So we're gonna do the before and after of all the lighting that I've done, and I'll give you a little tour of it as we talk through this. Okay, I'm just gonna put this to my shirt. This is just easier. I have too many controllers and stuff. One sec. If I go to my Nanlite app, so if I turn off the backlight and then the hair light and then the main light, first off, the silhouette is kind of a vibe. Not gonna lie, that actually looks way cooler than I thought it would be. Let's turn on the key light, which, hey, we're here. And then if we do the, I don't know which one this is gonna be. That is the ambient light to raise the levels of the room just a little bit. And then we have our hair light, which looks pretty good. So now we're gonna sit and test and grade this footage a little bit, because that's the benefit of working here, is I get to leave this set up for about a week, because we've got like 16 to 20-ish baptisms to film. I think there's a couple that we're still working with. So anyways, I also took some stock footage of water, which is what you're seeing play behind me. It's about 30 minutes of water footage. So as long as my laptop is plugged in, no interview should go past probably 20 minutes. So this should work for every single one. Boom pole is gonna be right here, which you can kind of see the tip of. So I got stuff to get that set up. A couple other things, but I think, oh, and a secondary camera that we're gonna get that I have not done yet. So, okay, let's give you a little tour of what we've done. Hop in, grade this footage so you can see what it'll look like. And that'll probably be the wrap of today's vlog, or this week's vlog, because it was kind of the major project we had to figure out, was building this set. This took us about 4.5 hours to build and set up in everything in its correct shape and form and get all the assets ready. So not too bad. Okay, let's give you a little tour. We've got our FS300B as our key light right here. That's, if I don't slip and fall, aiming into the chair here. 2 SL60Ws. This is the ambient light, just adding some fill to the room, and that guy is our other SL60W that is then giving me a bit of a hair light. I wanted a bit of a, oh look, there's our shadow. I wanted a bit of a, almost a sunlight vibe hitting them in the chair. So we've got our projector here that is then bringing that to the wall, which just looks so sick. I love projectors, and like, honestly, I'll check the price for you. I don't think this projector is even that expensive, but it's doing the job. It looks super heckin' cool. So, and then my laptop's here, and that's what's providing the content for the thing. So anyways, this is it. This is the whole setup. We're here on the completed set. Gonna be used by 15 to 20 people next week. It's not perfect, but it's done, and I think that's what matters most. Now, especially if you're dealing with self-doubt, I encourage you this week, go build something. Draw, paint, write, design, work with some other people, collaborate on a project, do something to help yourself see that you are capable, because you most certainly are, and I am learning that I am too. Great. Hey, go make something cool, and I will see you next week.